We are back. Hopefully this will be a much more positive video. So account came back at around midnight last night. I just randomly woke up at like 2 in the morning, checked my phone. I know that's bad, but I had a message from the guy who's been helping me get it back, and it was there. So very, very happy, obviously. Big stress relief, and more importantly, I'm just looking forward to getting back to work, because I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, but I just started with a new mentor about 3 weeks before this happened, and all the kind of new strategies that I was learning through their guidance were really starting to work, and then obviously it all grounded to a halt. So that's great. I'm still going to upload the last video because I think it's cool to document the journey and document how I'm honestly feeling. And as I say, big sense of relief. I know this is first world problems, but it is literally the primary source for the majority of our business, apart from like client referrals and the occasional lead from LinkedIn. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to video the entire day in the life of an online coach. Monday is always a check-in day for me. It's Monday today. So I'll run you over what I'm doing, what I'm eating, training, things like that. I actually got up quite late today, 7:15, just because I didn't think my account was going to come back. So I didn't have as much work to do, to be honest, because usually my first probably 2 hours of the day is spent on Instagram, doing content, speaking to people, following up with leads and things like that. So a little bit of a lie-in, but I'm not gonna lie, since I've been getting up a little bit later, I've been feeling fantastic. Got into, not a bad habit, but people in Spain stay up later, people go to bed later, so we kind of fell into that over the last month. So I've been lying in and opting for more sleep, and I've been feeling great. Work productivity was through the roof, but what I'm going to try and do this week is go to bed a little bit earlier and start kind of resetting my body clock, and then getting up a little bit earlier as well. So I had a very, very brief meeting with my VA, my assistant who helps me with some work on Instagram this morning, basically just going over the strategy for tomorrow, which is basically the exact strategy that we were doing on Instagram. And I've just been doing a few check-ins, replying to a few clients. That was the first work block, that was 45 minutes. Now I'm just going to clean some dishes and then get back to my next one. I'm going to do 45 minutes of check-ins, and then go for a little bit of a walk to the supermarket, pick up some bits, come back, have breakfast, and then head to the gym. So I will do my best to actually film some of my upper body session from today. Scale weight was actually up like 1.5 kilos today. So I had a low weigh in the other day of 77.2, which, as I mentioned, was very, very low. Weighed in at 78.8 today. Not worried whatsoever, obviously. But body weight is going to fluctuate. I did a run yesterday, 12k, which I'm pretty sore after, so there'll definitely be some stress and fatigue there. And to be honest, I imagine I was probably releasing quite a bit of cortisol because I've been quite stressed over the last couple of days, given what's happened. High carb intake yesterday, so those are 3 reasons that you could be holding on to water, and while scale weight might fluctuate. So releasing cortisol through stress, muscular stress and fatigue through actual training, and a high carb intake as well will all lead to water retention. So I'm interested to see where I'll be at this week, but the way I'm looking, honestly couldn't be happier. So I reckon I'm closer to kind of 77, and I'm looking forward to doing my speed session this week. I feel like I'm going to feel very light on that one, but I'm going to crack on with this, and then I will check in a little bit later on. You through a small food shop that I've just done. Went and got about 3,000 steps, stopped off at a Swedish supermarket, which is ridiculously expensive, so I won't be going back there. Bagels, standard. I'm going to have these with my breakfast now with some eggs. Nocco, pre-workout for the gym, a little bit less intense than like the standard Monster, and I think it tastes better, to be honest. Eggs, 2 steaks. I'm going to have one of these tonight. And Greek yogurt. Could only get 8% fat, which is way too high in fat compared to what I usually get, but they don't have any Farge yogurt around here, which is like 0% or 5%, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it. I'm just going to cook up I'm probably going to have 2 bagels, some eggs and some watermelon, so big breakfast before the gym to get a naughty pump. Here is the breakfast, pretty standard breakfast this. 3 whole eggs, 4 egg whites, 2 bagels with a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt, sriracha mayo, and then 375 grams of watermelon, which is a lot and very filling, as I was mentioning in the last video. So I'm going to get this down me, work for another hour, and then probably walk to the gym, and that'll be about an hour and a half to digest, so should be perfect for my upper body session.
They don't make $500,000 in one of those. They have to. They must do that. You gotta think about how much are they making every day. On whatever day it is. That's like calculating. But it's a hotel. You have hotel rooms, but it's all done in like they have a golden show, they have a hotel, they have a restaurant. But it's massive. There's so many sections. So I suppose.
Session complete. Hopefully you can hear me, it's very windy, but good session all in all. Paddle is absolutely rammed at all times of the day, morning, midday and evening, so had to adapt a few bits on my program, but pretty much did everything that I needed to do. Even if it's a single arm cable row, I can always just replace that for a single arm dumbbell row, as long as it's the same movement pattern, targeting the same muscle group. That's all we can really hope for. And then when we get back to Dubai, I'll be training out of one gym most of the time. It won't be as busy, but it's what you've got to do when you're traveling. I still complete, I would say, 90% of my program, so that's a winner. Walking back now. I'm actually going to get straight into check-ins again before I eat. Try and do 5 or 6. Just take the pressure off. I hate getting to late afternoon and having loads to do, so I'm going to get some done. Then I'm going to actually head over to the cafe across the road, which is called Gym Junkie Cafe, which I was at the other day. Get some food there. I refuse to cook and prep more than 2 meals a day. It's just a waste of time, especially when, time is money. From my point of view, I'd rather go and spend 10 to 15 euro on lunch if it means I can keep working. Same in Dubai. I'll cook my breakfast and my dinner, but I'll always have lunch out, because otherwise you just end up wasting way too much time. But yeah, I've got check-ins to do. Got to respond to some messages on Instagram. Obviously there's quite a big backlog of messages in there from when we lost the account for like 4 days. I have one client set up to do as well. I might actually run you over how we set a client up. I think that would be quite interesting. Really good client that we brought on board. He's a consultant in Abu Dhabi. He was referred to me by probably my best client who I've been working with for 6 months. And he's actually just signed on for another year as well. So it just goes to show, when you get a good result for someone, going the wrong way here. I've helped that client lose almost 15 kilos in less than 6 months. So naturally he's referred me to a couple of people. It's really, really good to obviously get referrals off current clients, because they're very warm leads. They usually know the price already, and to be honest, that's the only real objection that we get on calls these days is price, because we're not cheap, but we're good. So if someone's coming onto the call already knowing the price, it's just a very simple conversation. But yeah, that is that. I'm gonna walk back now. I'll run you over the client setup and what we do there when I get to the cafe, and I'll also show you what I'm having for lunch, because I won't be getting eggs because I had eggs for breakfast, so I might get like a chicken wrap or something like that. Calories today are 2,600. Again, I'll do a wrap up of the macros at the end of the day as well. This is a low day because it's a low activity day with just one session rather than running, lifting, or a big run. So just gonna end yesterday's vlog here today. Currently 4 miles into an easy run. Just wanted to sit down and have a look at the views. Absolutely sick. Don't usually stop. Well, if it was a challenging run I wouldn't stop, but obviously I know that I'm not stopping because I'm lazy. I'm just stopping to soak in the vibes. But I know I mentioned yesterday I was going to give a bit of an insight into some client setup and programming. I'm actually going to do a completely different video on that, not vlog style, just purely informational in terms of our clients. But I wanted to run over my macros from yesterday. So basically what I'm doing at the moment is I've got 3 different macro and calorie tiers based off activity. So on a rest day, or when I just do one form of activity, whether that's a run or weight session, I will consume 2,600 calories, 160 grams of protein, 75 grams of fat, and the rest carbs. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. And then on a higher activity day, so for example today, when I'm doing a 10k easy run and a leg session, I'll consume 3,000 calories instead, and the bump up in calories comes from carbs. And then the last tier is for a long run, where I'll consume 3,400 calories. Again, the only macronutrient that goes up higher is carbs. Obviously I don't stick to the exact macros every single day, but I try not to overconsume on protein and fat, leaving the remainder of my calories to come from carbs, which obviously supports performance. So that's the setup that I'm running at the moment, and I've dropped like 2 kg in the last couple of weeks. I think that, to be honest, was quite a lot of water weight from eating out a lot over the last few weeks, but nonetheless it is working. I got Harry, our nutritionist, to give me these macros. The goal was obviously to lean down a little bit but still support performance. And to be honest, I would have thought that I would have struggled on the lower calorie 2,600, but to be honest, I've been fine. Like when you make up your diet for majority, high quality nutrient dense whole foods, you are fairly satiated. And as I showed in the video yesterday, the clips earlier in this video, I'm smashing things like watermelon that are very satiating and very low in calories. But yeah, that's the setup. I'm going to round off the video here. I'm doing this easy run at let me just let my watch load. 4 miles in so far, which I believe is about 6.5k. Currently at a 4-minute 55 pace. So I've really noticed my easy runs time improve aerobically over the last couple of months being in Marbella, and I think it's simply just down to putting in the reps, putting in the miles. That's how you build your aerobic fitness. And if your aerobic base is stronger, then you have the ability to perform a lot better on the more taxing runs, like the longer runs and the interval runs. So tomorrow I've got a 14k tempo run, 2k warm up, 10k at marathon pace, 4:15 per kilometer, 2k cool down. So that'll be a really, really good test of where I'm at. I feel like it's going to go well because I'm into the 77 kg at the moment, and the last time I did that session I was kind of like 79, so a little bit of a reduction in weight there really does help. But I'm going to round this off here, and the next video, as I say, will be an insight into our program.